So you're welcome to today's live. The topic to be discussed or talked about today is how to boost our immune system naturally. I am your coach here at Healthy Food Place, where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. Today's highlight the naturally. Today's highlight will be on three phases. I want to briefly look at what our immune system is all about in the first highlight. Then, how can you know when your immune system is low? You're welcome. How can you know when your immune system is low? And then what are the foods to include or start consuming when you suspect a lower immune system? So these are the three highlights and under the subject of how to boost your immune system naturally. Now, what is the immune system all about? Well, not to go too deep, we have a network of cells and organs, proteins that are in our body right from the time we are born. We are born with them, they started to grow and develop as we are growing and developing too. And what are the work of this immune system? They are to defend us from external invaders. They are to defend us from bacteria, viruses, infections that are working 24 hours to enter our body and invade our organs. The immune system are there. Some are located in the bone marrow. The bone marrow is part of it, producing the white blood corpuscle, the white blood cells, and the red blood cells. The red blood cells are there to help the blood to pump oxygen, and the white blood cells are there to produce agents that will help to fight bacteria and infections. That is what the white blood cells. We also have the spleen. We have the lymph nodes, in charge of the lymphocytes, as we often call it. We also have the skin. It's a part of the immune system. The intestine, our stomach. And so a network of cells, organs, they are all over the body, working 24 hours to ensure that they defeat every invading agent. Before you understand what is going on, they are the first gatekeepers of our body to notify you. They get informed when any disease enters our body first before we are aware of it. And immediately they get the notice, they begin to fight to release even the mucous membrane. All of them are part of it. They begin to engage in a lot of activities to ensure that they defeat that disease that is coming in. And so today I want to talk about foods you can eat, what you can do to support and boost your immune system naturally. And then in the second phase, highlight, how do you know? How do I know when my immune system is low? That's what I will also talk about. So these are the network of cells. If you understand the role of this immune system, you will be able to support them to do their work. And then the incidences of diseases will be reduced. What are some of the signs when you notice it, that when for you to even say that this is looking like my immune system is not working fine. There are various signs for you to suspect that these organs are not in their best, and that is the best time to begin to consider what to do. But it's important also to inform us that the bodies are not the same. Yes, our bodies are not the same. There are times when something happens and you are wondering what must have gone wrong. Definitely the immune system is already defending you, but you need to do something in order for you to assist that immune system. Have you observed at times when you don't have appetite? The immune system is at work. Even our tonsils are part of the immune system, the gateway to the throat. Some diseases and infections try to invade through the mouth, but they have to go through the tonsil first. All of them there. And so, occasionally, the mucous membrane, you just notice that you cough something out. You don't know what it is. You just you drop it. But your body knows what that thing that you threw out is. At times, you notice that you are experiencing a runny nose. We need to all be alert at all times to watch out for these things. I actually thought to talk about this topic. It wasn't on my mind before. Because over the week, I noticed something which I've not had for a long time, and that is a runny nose. When you notice that there's fluid coming out of your nose. Though it's gone now, but that is a sure sign that your immune system is crying for help. But what remains is for you to understand where actually you went wrong, what you did. Because in the second part, I will be telling us the top homunculus. I will be adding it up before I go to the best food to include when you suspect that your immune system is low. But the top homunculus, I will also be talking about it. Top things that you do, top foods that we do to destroy our immune system. That will be coming up in the next highlight. So when you notice that you're having a runny nose, then that is almost an indication that the entire system is down, almost going down. And it's important for you to always be alert so that you don't allow things to get out of hand before you do something. Because the immune system are the bodyguards. They always notify you and I that something is going wrong. And most times, if you can take a fast step, quick measure, you will notice that the harm will not even be, there will be no harm. No, there will be little or no harm. And that is why medically it's often advised that we check ourselves and ensure early detection. Because that is when you have an upper hand over the diseases that are trying to come in. And so this immune system notifies us, sometimes through the nose, like I said, the hairs. They are all part of the immune system when they trap germs and bacteria that are trying to invade the body. They protect you and I. But when you notice runny nose, that is a sure sign of a weak immune system. When your eyes start dropping water as if you're crying, that is the immune system at work. It's telling you that something is wrong. Before you start experiencing swollen eyes, eye problems, eye disease, the first signal is to notice that the eyes are crying already when you are not beaten by anybody. So you don't have to ignore it. If you notice that you are no longer going to toilet as you ought to, That's chronic constipation. It's a sure sign that your immune system is under attack. And that's when you need to fight back. Because if you do not do something quickly, the germs and bacteria will be trapped, and they will prevent the stomach from producing the acid. And those acids, some of them help to kill off some bacteria that are entering the stomach or trying to invade the body through the stomach or through the food we eat. The acids kill them. But when the stomach is not producing sufficient hydrochloric acid, as is in the case of most older adults, the production is already slowed down as we age. And that's why we have to occasionally include some foods that will help to ginger them up, like taking fennel seed tea, which is good in it, ginger tea. There are some foods, non-caffeinated teas, even chamomile tea, that can help to boost hydrochloric acid production. That's an immune boosting. Because when the acids are not there, the bacteria and germs and viruses will have a free day. So it's an indication that your system also, your immune system, if you're experiencing chronic constipation, teary eyes without any cause for tears, runny nose when it's not expected, insomnia, being awake at night for no just cause, you just observe that you at the hours when you ought to be sleeping or when others are sleeping, you are awake. Something is wrong, and it's seriously wrong. It's not something to take for granted. You should begin to ask yourself, what is my body asking for? I've also noticed in some cases that low calcium, low magnesium is the case in most older adults. Most older adults, menopausal women particularly, most times calcium deficiency and magnesium and some other minute minerals, even zinc, missing in the diet are some of the causes. And when this insomnia or lack of sleep is allowed to linger for a longer time, you will notice the entire system will break down. And that's why we need to do something even at that time. If you notice dryness in your skin, the skin continues to bring out oils, and these oils help to protect us. It's the largest, the skin actually is a part of the immune system and is the largest external organ that helps to fight for us, to protect us against many viruses and infections. And that's why we need to be careful what we put on our skin. If you take notice of this, you will not put anything on your skin anyhow. I've shared with us the reason why I started making my own body lotions, soaps, and so many of such cosmetics myself several years ago, because of the importance of the skin as a part of the immune system. Because when you are putting something on your skin and that thing is also is toxic, for instance, it's going into your blood unknown to you. So you shouldn't just buy any cream or take anything and begin to put on your skin. Or you notice that your skin is drying out, just unusually drying out. You should know that it's already weak and it's looking for help. And that's the time to do something. If you notice something like even frequent diarrhea, it's a sign of a weak immune system, loss of appetite. You don't feel like eating. These are almost the climax aspect of it. Loss of appetite, low energy, feel too tired to do something. Sometimes depressed. You don't know, you are just annoyed, you're not just happy. And you don't know the reason for that. Sometimes also, you may just be experiencing frequent sore throats, frequent toothaches, oral issues, a lot of, little things like that. They all are indications that the immune system is weak, it's under attack. Even when you experience fever, a mild form of fever, it is not really a disease, but it is that time, it's a warning sign that the immune system is giving you to do something. But if you can do something at that point of the fever warning, which is a manifestation of a weak immune system, you could be free from it. For instance, if you observe that you're always running temperature, maybe in the morning or in the evening, or certain hours of the day, which is the case of, you should know that there is an infection, that the body is trying to fight it. And then at the later part of this highlight, you shall be talking about foods. I just pray that we should be able to finish it today. Then you have to, know the foods to begin to consume at that particular point in time, in order to support that immune system, to be able to fight for you. There are times when the red blood cell, the bone marrow is a part of the immune system, and it's no longer producing enough red blood cells, and the body is not able to pump enough oxygen. You start to experience symptoms of anemia. It's a sign of weak immune system. And so what do? If you may even start feeling cold. I know what I'm saying because I've experienced it before. Some people used to think that when you are feeling cold, it means you're having fever. Immediately, you start going for malaria medicine, typhoid medicine, antibiotics. No. Sometimes you're feeling cold may be an indication, a signal from the immune system that there is not enough red blood. Either something is attacking it, or something is attacking the place where it's coming from. So it's not enough. And so when it's not enough, oxygen cannot go around the body. And the resultant effect is you may be feeling cold. And there are other signs that could indicate or can manifest with coldness. Feeling cold. But I'm telling us that not all coldness, not all the time you're feeling cold is an indication that you have fever or malaria. You have malaria. Don't be in a hurry. You're welcome. Once you start feeling cold, don't be in a hurry to go, and what you need to do, and when you will let me not be in a hurry to tell us what we need to do. We will hear that towards the end of it. But you need to start doing something if you know that these are the things that if you don't have appetite, you should also know what is wrong and the food to start eating in order to release your appetite that is under attack. So it's not something that you will just start rushing for medication because you are feeling that something, you are not feeling well, you are feeling feverish, you are feeling cold. So malaria has come, typhoid has come. That is not always the case, my dear. So there are also, Ngozi Amadio, God bless you. Thank you. You're welcome, my dear. You're welcome. So in this second highlight, I want to also mention, you're welcome. Thank you for coming in. So what are some of the things that we do to kill? I've already highlighted some of the signs that your immune system is weak. There are other various signs, but what are some of the things that we do that destroy our immune system? We do a lot of things that can make our immune system even to come under attack. When we eat processed foods, too much of processed foods, the worst of it is when we consume fried foods. So a lot of us, even as I am, I've heard a lot of people, surprisingly, they'll be eating fried foods, can carbonated drinks and beverages. These are the immune killers. I'm mentioning the immune killers. High carbohydrates food that are high in carb with little or no nutrients in it. Inflammatory foods. Of course, inflammatory foods also comprises of those processed foods. Most of them are highly inflammatory. They are immune killers. Other immune killers like not having sufficient sleep, not observing water therapy, that is not being properly hydrated. When you don't take sufficient water, sufficient fluid to help and support your immune system, they are fighting 24 hours. It's also an immune killer when you don't take sufficient water or observe your water therapy. If you are always engaging in alcohol, it's also an immune killer. If you take caffeinated teas and beverages regularly, it's an immune killer. They dry your cells. Then, if you are also always stressed, doesn't matter what, it could be physical stress, it could be emotional stress, it could be financial stress, it could be marital stress. There are various kinds of stress that people are going through. So once you are being, suppressed by any one of these stressors, your immune system will also come under attack. It does not even matter what you're eating. It does not even matter how well you're feeding. You could be feeding very well, but if you are not happy, your immune system will not respond. They are the one that will understand that you're not happy. They will know it. Even you may try to hide it from people that you are happy. You could dress gorgeously and look happy outside, but your immune system knows that you are not happy. And so that is why we should endeavor as much as possible to take off anything that will keep us sad and moody. And even our Maker, Almighty God himself, has admonished us to always be rejoiced. He said, a merry heart doeth good like medicine. I've said it before, and I can't say too much of it. When you're always happy, your immune system is strong. But when you're always sad and moody, when you're always unhappy, you are suppressing your immune system is being suppressed. So every little sickness, infection will come knocking on your door. And so one of the ways to avoid that is it's not as if challenges won't come our way. There are occasions to be unhappy. We are humans, but we can put it under control if we know, or if we are aware through this message that it will ultimately affect our immune system, our overall health. So we need to work fast on those things when they come, those challenges and stressors, and put them off. The word of God is there for you. There are promises that you can use to strengthen your spirit man, encourage yourself, and move on. Your case is not the worst. So these are things that can destroy our immune system. I've mentioned the processed foods. Another thing is trans fatty acids, foods that are bad oils. They are one of the worst immune suppressors when you are consuming oils with man-made fats. We call them trans fats from vegetable oils and all of that. All of them are immune suppressors. So those ones, when you are also consuming things that, always consuming food frequently, it's an immune suppressor. A lot of us are not aware that too much eating, you don't have time to fast. You don't have time to allow the stomach to rest. If you wake up in the morning, you start eating, maybe from, I've heard somebody say that we should eat around 6 times a day, or there's there are varying factions of opinions, and everybody is entitled to his opinion of how many times. But it depends on individual. I won't ask you not to do that. Some people are on medication, some people depending on how they are. So sorry, that was the interruption. So the immune system is often attacked when we bring in habits, foods, lifestyles that does not support them. And I already highlighted most of them, including your emotion. Your emotion is part of it. It's part of your immune system. That's the last point I was trying to make. That when you are unhappy, your immune system will record it that you are not happy. Doesn't matter how we try to show off outside, but something inside is already taking record that this is how our feeling and that is how we are. And if we do not work on it to quickly come out of it, over time, infection, disease, cancer comes and begin to find a convenient atmosphere and environment to grow. So we can also say no to that. A lot of other habits, exercising too much is a stressor too. When you overdo it, consuming too much food, I've already said it. These are stressors, things that can destroy our immune system. When we are not consuming, when we are consuming only foods that are cooked, we don't allow our digestive enzyme any breathing space by bringing in raw foods. So all the foods are cooked at all times. So the stomach and the body must work extra. There's no resting, there's no relaxation. They have to be working to digest it. So, but when we take in the raw foods, they have a little breaking. They don't have to do much work to make use of it. So these are some of the foods, habits, and lifestyles that can affect or weaken our immune system. We must also be aware of it. And there are some that we actually do not take seriously, but they are also important. When we take too much, allow too much toxins inside our body through the foods we are eating, it also destroys or weakens our immune system. When we consume foods that are dead, foods that have no nutrient in them. I gave an example, and it happened recently. When you cook your food and you have to store it and continue to warm it, you continue to rewarm it for convenience or for economic reasons or whatever, you are destroying the immune system. If there is no life, especially if your immune is under attack. But when it is even not under attack, you should always bring in foods that have life. Even if they are cooked, let there be life in them, so that they can make use of it to work in your favor and to repair the cells that are dead, those for blood production. It all depends on you and I. You're welcome. So when you are consuming those foods that you have kept over for a long time in the fridge and bringing them out and warming them, although there are some foods that warming them does not really reduce their foods like tomatoes. When you warm tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, it doesn't really affect so much. It affects it little, but not too much. So you need to also know that there are some food, but those fresh vegetables that are rich in vitamin C and minerals, they are destroyed. Once the heat has heated them up, the vitamin C, which is one of the most powerful antioxidants, is gone out of it. And so you just be taking in chaff. And if there are other minerals like calcium, those that may not be destroyed by heat, you can still have a little access if they are available in that particular food. So we can work on our immune system and save ourselves from frequent infections, frequent illnesses, frequent visits to the hospitals by helping our immune system through these foods and lifestyles. I will also talk about the foods that can help you. Now, this is an interesting aspect. When you notice that your immune system is weak, most times it's not always the same symptom that shows up. This our fontanelle is part of it. I've heard people say their head is paining them, and it does happen to me occasionally, but I've not heard it for some time. But if you can find time to press some part of your body when you are suspecting that you're not having, your appetite is not as sharp as it used to be, or you are experiencing some low energy levels, you just know within you that something is wrong. If you can press some areas, you will notice small pains. These are inflammations, hidden, because it's not all inflammation that you can see with your naked eyes. Some that you cannot find them. So what point am I making here? When you notice that your immune system is low, for instance, a runny nose, I experienced it 3 days ago. That is one of the reasons why I said, let me talk. It has gone. It's a long time I had my nose running like that. You know, it's a breakdown of immune system. So you don't give it times. So you don't, okay. So you don't, can you hear me now? A call was trying to disturb me, so I had to lower it. Please let me know if you can hear me now. Reverend Amadio, please, if you can hear me now, please, I want you to comment that you can hear me. And I'm welcoming all of you that are in the house. I can see you. You're all welcome. And I want you to make comments and let me know if you're already hearing me now, because I've adjusted it. So what I'm saying that when you observe that the immune system is weak, you have first of all to identify what went wrong. For instance, you don't just rush. I remember some years back, when you have this runny nose, they ask you to go and buy Actifed or there are some medications that they quickly recommend for you to start drinking so that you sleep and all those kind of things. But when you understand how, I'm welcoming all of you, I can see those of you in the house, you're welcome. So when you understand how the immune system operates, you may also not be going for such things like that in a hurry. For instance, the worst, if you notice that your nose is running, drinking water, it's a sure sign. And what it's also saying is that you should reduce cooked food at the moment. I'm just giving you a tip that you can take notice of. Because when the body is weak, digesting food that are cooked is one of the hardest things for it to do. If you can give it food that is even blended, in small amount, it will not escalate. But when you experience a weak immune system, for instance, your nose running, and you go and eat solid food, the next thing may follow with temperature in the evening. I've talked with a lot of people, and before I land, they normally confirm that what I said is true. So you don't even need to confirm it. It's what I know is like that. Once the thing starts bringing in, dropping, you are cleaning it. If you love yourself, you have to stay off from solid foods. Solid foods. If you like to swallow cassava or all those stuff, those solid food could be even beans. Mucus production will increase when you start eating stay away from all the mucus producing food like bread and biscuits. Once you notice it, don't tell yourself it's light. The food may look light, may feel light, but it's not light. You don't measure the lightness of a food by touching it or by seeing it. As some of us say, cracker is light, that they are taking cracker. Some say so thing is high. I was having that opinion several years ago, but it's not light. It's only light when you touch it on contact, but it's highly acidic in the body. So when you experience things like that, you have to avoid acidic foods. You have to stay away from solid foods, heavy foods. You have to stay away from trans fats. You have to stay away from inflammatory foods. You have to stay away from high sugary foods. Because you're already having that full conviction that your immune system is heavily under attack. When your eyes start dropping water, for instance, it happened before I changed my glasses recently. The first sign my immune system notified me was the tears, the eyes bringing tears as if I was crying. And before I knew it, boil was coming out, so many other things. So that first signal, you don't have to. And I have to do what I had to do fast. And that was the end of it. So the immune system also lies in the stomach. If you are constipated, for instance, what should you be eating? You have to go for citrus. Citrus. When you notice that your immune system is low, start including citrus. Vitamin C rich foods. So I've heard a lot of people say they go for vitamin C. Well, you can do whatever you want to do, but my own suggestion is that go for naturally occurring vitamin C, especially those from citrus, lemon, lime, oranges. You can pick any of them and take them moderately just to help to boost your white blood cells to fight for you, to support them to fight. Now, if you are also experiencing or you suspect, for instance, that your immune system is low, you have to reduce the quantity of food you are eating. Heaven will not fall if you didn't eat that day. Because when it's fighting a disease, it doesn't like too much of food. Food is a hard work to do. So you have to reduce, especially carbohydrates. Carbohydrates and high sugary foods should be reduced as a way to support your immune system. You must reduce high sugary food, high carbohydrate, reduce trans fats from your food. I repeat it again. If your immune system is weak, start including citrus, anti-inflammatory food, berries, those red fruits. Include them to support your heart. Because when that immune system, the body is, the immune system is so complex. So it's not just one point. Another aspect that of strengthening immune system, which I discovered lately and I need to share, is the oral health. If you notice that your immune system is weak, pay special attention to your oral health by using sea salt to gargle and rinse your mouth. You can do it once a day or even twice. For 2 days, you'll be okay. Ensure that the gateway round your mouth is on guard for 2 or 3 days if you suspect that your immune system is under attack. Because when the immune system is low, they need supporting others. They start to mobilize, engage in what I refer to as mobilization. So when you use something like sea salt to gargle, it releases, it supports your respiratory tract, which is also always a target too. And you must protect it. Then it also releases a lot of micronutrients to support your digestive health as well. And then most of them don't survive it's not a food for them, as a matter of fact. Most things that you feed on, the disease is also feeding on it. They want to eat. They are hungry, just as you are hungry. But there are some foods that they won't eat. And those foods are the foods that you should be focusing on. Sea salt is one of them. It's not an acidic salt, like refined table salt that doesn't have much nutrients. If you have it, you can start using it to gargle. It's particularly good for all kinds of infections. When you are using it for your mouth, to rinse your mouth with warm water, gargle it and pour it away. Even if you don't have any symptom, but you suspected your immune system is under attack, focus, pay attention to your oral health during those periods. Watch it so that they don't spread it around. Because one of the work of the immune system also is to protect your body, those bacteria from going around your body. They want to invade the entire body. That's their target. But the immune system, your immune system, when it's strong, everyone is on guard. They're protecting you like soldiers. They don't allow them to spread. And you wouldn't allow them either, if you understand how it works. So you don't have to open door. Your mouth is a major doorway. And you must protect it during your immune system, when you're fighting to improve your immune system. Your feet. These are unconventional ways that people may not be talking about. Your feet. You can begin to soak it in water. Some of the bacteria for 30 minutes could be going out. Especially this concerns the older adults particularly. When you put your 2 legs in warm water with salt, either add bicarbonate or you can add mint oil, some drops of mint oil or lemon oil in it, and soak your feet for like 30 minutes. You will notice a sounder sleep. Most of the bacteria and germs will go out from there. Because as we are marching on the ground, the feet is connected to a lot of nerves. It's so mysteriously connected, the feet and our hands. So when our immune system is under attack, we should also focus on this aspect. They are unconventional. People may not be talking about it. But I have noticed that when you focus and ensure that the feet is warm, because it starts by your feet getting cold. And when the feet is getting cold and you're ignoring it, it starts from there, reducing blood circulation. And when your hands are getting cold, you touch your hands, it's cold. That's not a good sign. It won't support your immune system to do its work. It won't support proper blood circulation. If you notice that your hands we are warm-blooded, as a matter of fact. If you notice that your palms are cold, you use warm water and wash it. And then you have a cream or homemade whatever to rub on it and massage it, even if it's shea butter or whatever, to ensure that it's warm. And then at night too, that the feet is warm. That is another way to support your immune system. And this aspect particularly affects older adults. I know that some people could recommend you buying immune boosting drugs, multivitamin tablet. We did most of these things several years, and we later found out that it's not the solution. We were actually adding salt to injury ignorantly. When your immune system is low, it's not a time to begin to bring in medications. It's not a time to begin to bring in multivitamins, all kinds of drugs, tablets, because the liver also is looking for help. So most times when you understand the aspect, for instance, if it is stress that has contributed, you need to take out time and rest. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If I want to do something and I discover that the thing is becoming stressful, you need to take out time, because nothing can take the place of rest. Nothing can take its place. Proper nutrition can take it, can replace that. So as long as nothing can replace it, you have to take out time and rest. Though some of us do not know how to rest, we find it difficult, but we must try as much as possible because of how it affects our immune system. Stress makes everything very, very bad. So we must beware of it. Beware of trans fats. Beware of stress. Beware of too much carbohydrates. When your immune system is under attack, begin to consume vitamin C rich foods. Vitamin C rich foods. Food that are low in calorie. Reduce sugar as much as you can. And now when I talk of sugar, sugar includes fruits that are high in sugar. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I can see that comment. Yes, you say yes. You can hear. Now, sugar includes fruits. A lot of people have argued that sugar is, fruits are okay. Fruits are okay. But if you're an older adult, you must beware of sugar too from fruits. They are very, very, in fact, they are even very sharp. Sugars like those from watermelon. It's a wonderful food, but very high in glycemic index. Sugar foods like golden melon, very high in glycemic index. These are wonderful foods. Even our fresh pineapple, I love them. Even carrots, they're all high in sugar. But we can still find a way, like I said in one of my broadcasts, that you can still find a way to smuggle them, by adding some spices that, work against the sugar they are producing or help to support your body to produce insulin that is needed. Foods like cinnamon powder, you can sprinkle on some of them to help. Even ginger. I lately also found out that because it's an inflammation fighting food, it can also help if in the absence of cinnamon, in order not to lose out. But don't just consume fruits that because they are fruits. Some are quite high in sugar and can actually work against your immune system. I have heard people who took orange and suddenly the nose loosened. Well, there are some that are like allergies at a certain period of the season. It has happened to some people. I've seen it happen to people I know. And I think maybe sometime long ago, maybe it has happened to me. I can't remember. But when you are also having allergy like that, you need to also be careful, because there are certain times you take orange, your liver reacts aggressively, and the next thing you see is runny nose. You begin to wonder that But they said vitamin C is good for runny nose, vitamin C is good for this. Why? Certain time when some foods are out of season, you have to be aware of them. Your body also works that way. It has more, there's a way it works. When the food is out of season, you have to be aware of it too, and beware of it. Sometimes when you take it, it's a lot of knock off everything. Please, I want you to try this if you're in doubt. There are certain times when that food is out of season completely. The older adults in the village, when the food is out of season, they don't go to it, they don't eat it. To them, they regard it like it's poison. They are not so educated. They are not research experts, but they have understood how their body works from the past experiences. They have understood that it's going to react aggressively, and it may even bring sickness upon them. So if you bring a food that is not in season, they will not take it. And we need to be educated also. Some of us take many things for granted, because God brings this thing seasonally. Most times to tackle some ailments or diseases. And when that season is gone, we put it, that the body locks up for it. So when you bring it suddenly from nowhere, where did this one come from? Kata is running, nose is running, ears everywhere. Even when you have some signals in your ears, around your ears, it's a warning signal that your immune system is under attack too. These are the organs of the immune system. All of them. They are connected, the lymph nodes. So these are signs that immune system, at times, like this, so you're having a mild pain around your ears, inside of it. The immune system is already weak, and you need to reduce. I remember some time ago, when after some time I stopped eating yellow corn, but over some time I decided to go back because of beta carotene and for my eyes too, and for skin. So I said, okay, I'm going to return it to my diet, but small. But when I tried to enjoy it, overdo it, because in season, my ears wanted to start to pain. I had to stop. And the one good thing about our body, I'll let us know. Once you stop bringing in that supply, the offensive food, it heals immediately. It heals itself. That problem stops. And that was the end of that. I was having that signal. But in the years of ignorance, some people may be having that little pains around somewhere inside the ear. You go and buy more of it, more of that thing that caused the pain as a result of ignorance, and begin to consume it. Corn, too much of it was the cause of that. I had to make a little reference to this because some of us, we have suffered a lot as a result of ignorance, even when the signs are there. But because we're not properly educated, because of lack of education, we suffer a lot. But if you can pay attention to some of the tips here, you can avoid so many of these things. You can prevent a lot of them, and that is the essence of it. So you have to start including low-calorie foods, vitamin C rich foods. Start including green vegetables. Start including cruciferous vegetables like, these are immune-boosting foods like cabbage, cauliflower, onions, garlic. You have to include spices mildly, ginger, turmeric, coriander, a lot of them, fennel seeds, fenugreek seeds, cumin seeds, and a lot of it. These are low-calorie foods that your body needs to fight disease. Another thing also that helps to boost your immune system is consuming tea. Consuming tea. And when I say tea, I'm not talking of black tea. I'm not talking of white tea. I'm not talking of green tea. I'm talking of any food that is in liquid, in infusion form, when you have to infuse it in water. You don't need to put oil, salt, or vegetable. That is what I mean by tea. They are very low in calorie. So, but in doing that, when you also overdo it, over consume the tea, it also affects your calcium and your magnesium. Most of them are not good sources of magnesium. And that's why when you are consuming tea, for instance, in a whole day, you are deciding that today is only tea I'm going to drink. Well, it depends on the type of tea you're drinking. But if green tea is included, or black tea, it's going to reduce your magnesium, going to reduce your calcium. And maybe you will start, it will manifest by your heart trying not to be able to pick up, maybe when you want to sleep. The thing comes like a cough, maybe because there's no sufficient magnesium. And of course, what do? I always have my almond around. There are other good sources of magnesium. When you suspect that you haven't had enough calcium during the day, there are good sources like chia seeds. You can soak it and then have it to have your calcium and most of the nutrients we're talking about, because they are very, very crucial to supporting your immune system. Because when your immune system is under attack, because if there's no calcium and all those minerals, the bone marrow and all these other organs that are part of the immune system, they won't be doing their best. They won't be at their best. And so at that point, you begin to, experience low energy levels and all of that. So we are saying that you can actually support your immune system and stay healthy most times in the year without allowing the bacteria and viruses to invade your entire body, because they always start from one point. What we call malaria and typhoid, they often start by attacking our immune system. And when we support those immune systems by doing some of these things, and what are the things? You must ensure that you're properly hydrated. Water therapy must be daily. Ensure you include garlic, especially when you're fighting infection, especially those resistant strains. Ensure that you include garlic. Garlic is not the same with others. It has allicin and sulfur, which you cannot find in ginger, which you cannot find in turmeric and some other. They all have different, components, different from each other. So the fact that you're taking this does not mean that you shouldn't take this, because our body is fighting a host, too many bacteria. You can't name them. Too many of them right inside our stomach. So you need to, involve the use of all kinds of seeds, spices, teas, bitter foods. It's a top immune boosting food. Yes. If you suspect that your immune system is low, those yeasts that help to support them, you need to include bitter foods. Recently, I had to prepare the neem tea when I was still suspecting it, and it was great too. You can have it as tea in your home, either as a tea, a ground dry one. If you cannot always go to get it, the fresh one from the tree, you can have it a dried form, and infuse it as a tea. Very bitter. You can also have kudin tea. You can have ginger tea, it's a mildly bitter. You can have bitter leaf. It's in tea form. The bitter foods will help also to support your immune system, to strengthen it. You can reduce eating during those periods. If it's 3 times you eat, you can reduce it to twice and ensure that carbohydrates are not prominent, because carbohydrates are immune killers. Are immune killers, especially those carbs that don't have vitamin A, especially those carbs that don't have much of nutrients in them. They are immune killers, and we must also be aware of them. Of course, we already know of processed foods that they are immune killers. So you don't have to continue to do things, include foods that will make your immune system to be down. Once you get that signal, that first signal from it, you must respond swiftly, because if you don't, it's going to be spreading. It's going to be spreading to other organs until the entire body is invaded. That is it. Just start including vitamin C rich foods, vitamin E rich foods. Now, stay away from processed foods. Start consuming only fresh foods. Avoid food that you have warmed and rewarmed before. Please, this is one of the worst food for your immune system. I've experienced it several times. I've told people, I've tried for the sake of convenience to go use it, but it's an immune killer. They are dead. When your immune system is under attack, go for only fresh foods. If it's not fresh, don't eat it. Don't eat it. If it's not fresh, don't eat it. Don't go for too much protein. I mean, heavy proteins. When your immune system are under attack, don't go for heavy proteinous foods. Reduce protein in your diet. When you are taking the protein too much, you will be noticing even the urine will be smelling, and your body will be gas, stomach will be gas, a lot of things. You will notice that the body is not able to work on it, to digest the protein, because it's hard job digesting the protein, whether it's plant-based or animal-based, but the body has to work extra hard. And sometimes it even appears that the legumes are even more offensive, because a lot of waste are produced when we consume legumes, when the immune system is under attack. The one I know that there's no much waste, if the meat is little, or if it's a chicken, there may not be any much waste if you don't take much of it, just little. But when we take it in large amounts, it may ultimately affect our immune system, and it may eventually bring us down. So that is so far about the subject for today. We must not engage in foods, lifestyles, or habits that will destroy our immune system. Avoid doing those things that will bring the entire system down. The power is in your hands and in my hands. It will require a long process for you. It will require a long process for you to regain the balance internally when it is lost. So remember that when you notice it, your immune system is low, you have to first of all find out what you did wrong that destroyed it. Was I consuming too much protein? Was I stressing too much? Was I taking too much teas and caffeine? There was a time I was taking too much teas too. If you are taking too much teas, it's going to affect you. If you are not taking it at all, teas at all, it's still going to affect you because it's a low-calorie food. So you have to know what you did, the role you played, because we are always the one that opens the door. So you need to know the role, understand where you did something. That either you ate bread, for instance, older adults, it's okay to stay away from bread though. Last time I tried to do long throat for it, and I know how everywhere we are locked up. I mean, the intestine, in fact, the worst of it, don't even go say you are taking tea and bread. The whole thing will be locked up, and you'll be struggling for many days to open up the detoxification pathways, because it's going to lock it up like they use padlock. Some of you that are listening to me, you know what I'm talking about. You have experienced it, and if you have not, it's important to ensure for older adults and the younger ones too. And when you consume those ones that are immune killers, especially when you combine them, they go and lock up your detoxification pathways. They lock it up. And I gave example of two combinations, milk and bread. They lock it up, especially in older adults. When it's locked up, your detox system will not be working. You will not be able to sweat. Sweating will cease, your skin, everywhere. Even the intestine is part of the immune system. You can't go to toilet easily. And that's how it will start spreading. So we need to be careful not to engage in such foods and habits. Include when you experience it, like it happened in that case, you can quickly look. If you notice that there's that chronic constipation as if it's locked up, you can go for chia seeds. It can help to open it up. Yes, you can go soak almost a tablespoon or 3/4 of a tablespoon of chia seeds, and then soak it for maybe 6 hours or less than that, and then you drink it. It starts to open up. It gets locked up, and when those places are locked up in the intestine, it's giving room for the bacteria, because the body may not be able to produce the digestive juice, and hydrochloric acid production will be reduced. So bacteria can have upper hand. So the earlier we take in foods, vegetables, there are certain vegetables that are actually very good in it, like the water leaf. When you notice it, you take a lot of all those leaves that are easy to digest to help push them out. In addition to adding some of the spices. Peppers, cayenne peppers, an immune booster. I forgot to mention that. Cayenne pepper, bell peppers. Peppers are super immune boosters, but you must not overdo it, because it's a heart supporting nutrient. It improves blood circulation. And when you are talking of the skin, for instance, when I notice that my skin is dried, unusually dried, I know that there's something wrong. You have to take more water, reduce stress, and then include more foods that are not cooked. If you can make smoothie in small amounts, why I say in small amount is because of the diabetics. You cannot just carry, or pre-diabetics, you cannot carry a glass cup of smoothie, maybe made with pineapple, fresh pineapple, oranges, bananas, and all kinds of sweet fruits together and drink. You can't do that, because that will raise your blood sugar. So you have to start including, foods that will help to support it, so that you don't have to allow yourself to be brought down. I would like to end this session at this point. But if you are watching us for the first time, you need to click the subscription button. You need to subscribe so that you can also get more knowledge. You can be educated on how to stay healthy naturally. Share a lot of my own personal ideas here also to help us to buttress some of the points. Food remains our medicine, but moderation is our rule. Thanks for watching, and keep staying healthy naturally. Till I see you again.